Hey there, LEGO fans! Still here in Algonquin Park and getting ready to do a second build with Fawkes, Dumbledore's Phoenix. Should be a pretty cool little display set, some animated features, the wings move with a little crank, sounds pretty cool, and looking forward to getting a close look at that. So, let's get the canoe out in the water, get this build underway, so we can start having a closer look at Fawkes. What a great outdoor build that was, and definitely my favorite canoe build to date. The weather was perfect, the scenery was great, the winds weren't too high, and I think it made for a beautiful build video. I hope you enjoyed it. And now for the review. Here we have Fawkes, Dumbledore's Phoenix, sitting on his perch, looking proud, wings spread wide, as he gets ready to take off, which looks really awesome with the mechanical feature that makes his wings flap, which we'll get back to in a minute. As one would expect for a Phoenix, Fawkes comes in some pretty fiery colors, with the body being mostly red, with dark red, orange, yellow, and brown highlights throughout. Starting from above, the dominant red color is really quite apparent, but those details are really quite pleasing. Starting with, at the tip of the wings, we have those 3 long flight feathers, each tipped in a dark red color. Moving down the wing, we've got some of those orange and brown highlights, with some more of that beautiful dark red along the lower edge. And when we come to the body, we've got a bunch more of those orange highlights. Moving on down, we come to the tail, which is comprised of 5 feathers, being mostly orange, this time having red highlights, the outer ones being the shortest, the center and widest one being the longest, and sandwiched between them, we have the 2 medium-length feathers. Along the side of the body, as we'd expect, the body is again mostly red, this time having brown highlights with a little bit of orange and yellow thrown in, and beneath the wings, there's not too much to see here. All the way in front, Fawkes' head is looking pretty sleek, with a sharp pointy beak, deep black eyes, little horns right above them, and some sleek plumage traveling back to the back of his head. Making our way down, we can see that Fawkes has 6 powerful talons gripping onto his perch. Unfortunately, the designers left out the claws in the back of his feet, so how he's holding onto his perch is a little bit of a mystery. It probably involves some magic. Then, down at ground level, we have the base to the stand, with the outer edge being done in a matte gold color, having Fawkes' name right in front, and a little spot where we can mount the Fawkes minifigure. Now it's time for the mechanical feature, these awesome flapping wings, which, by turning the little crank all the way in the back, you can add quite a bit of motion to this model, and I find the range of motion to be very satisfying. These wings aren't stiff and rigid, flapping in a very linear motion. There are several linkages and pivot points in each wing, creating two distinct zones per wing. The thicker part of the wing, right next to the body, flaps up and down in a pretty simple motion, while the thinner part of the wing, mounted on its own pivot points, follows in its own unique range of motion. As the wings are coming down, the outer portion will be curved downwards in relation to the inner portion, just as the wings are coming up, the outer portion will be curved upwards in relation to the inner portion. So as you turn the crank and animate those wings, the range of motion of both the inner and outer portion of each wing creates a highly pleasing visual that is very satisfying to look at in the front, side, or wherever you choose. And of course, we have a few minifigures with this kit. Dumbledore himself, with his big white beard, little wand, and of course, Fawkes on his own little stand. And if you so choose, you can optionally use this little display stand for the two minifigures. But personally, I think the Fawkes minifig looks better at the base of the Fawkes build. As to play, display, and parts that you might be tempted to use elsewhere, I think it's pretty clear that this kit shines brightest as a display piece. As to the parts, there's nothing really all that remarkable in here. There's a healthy assortment of pieces within, but nothing that really stands out as unusual, although I do find that these large golden pieces around the base are a little bit more uncommon. As to play, I don't think this kit scores very well. Sitting on a stand, rotating the cranks, making the arms move, is entertaining for a little while, but it's not going to be engaging for that long. And the stand itself is a little bit flimsy. Works very well to be sitting there, playing with the cranks, but if you want to fly it around, I find it starts to separate a little bit and doesn't hold together that well. So I think it's best suited for a stationary experience, and not so much to be flown around the room. But as a display piece, I find this kit does much better. Sitting there with his wings spread wide, I personally think it looks best with the tips pointed upwards a little bit. Fawkes displays quite well, and despite not being that large, is still quite eye-catching. But as good as he looks sitting there, he's much more impressive once you demonstrate the flapping of the wings, where the guests that I've shown to thus far have been pretty enamored by this. Sitting there as they rotate the crank themselves, and just admire the range of motion of the wings. I think it goes without saying that this kit was made for the Harry Potter fans out there. Someone who's really looking to display it, and not so much to play with it, but far be it from me to tell you how to enjoy your Lego.